This week on Sportsman TV, surf and turf. Don't be afraid of it. Well, if that's a bass, that's gonna be a hammer. What is that, Jared?
Come on,
Old booger red. I was afraid the way that line was screeching.
Come on now.
You know, today we were at Delacroix, but it's summertime of the year, and the big thing, you know, fishing the marsh this time of the year is grass. And it's not only here at Delacroix, it's Venice, Lafitte, Des Allemands. There's just so many areas, and I'm just talking about the eastern part of the state, not talking about the western part of the state, like all the way over at Lake Charles, Morgan City. The big key is finding clean water right now and finding the grass. And when you find that, again, that grass is a sign of really fresh water. You're gonna have both species. You're gonna have redfish, bass, bluegill, big garfish, big catfish. We've seen some of all of it today, but again, grass. It doesn't have to be here. It's just somewhere around our coast. It's that time of the year. The grass is growing, the fish are biting. What are you jumping about out there? Oh, turn on the heat, big man. Stingrays, little bass, little redfish. They're all here. Uh-oh, redfish. Is that a redfish?
Bass.
Oh no.
That might be a keeper.
No, it's about 8, maybe a 9. You know, now it's hot weather. There's no reason to cut the day short, not with the new Sportsman Cool Breeze shirt. When it's so hot outside and you can't stand it, put on one of these Cool Breeze. It's almost like wearing an air conditioner. Comes in 5 cool colors. The shirt breathes nicely, but what I like about it the most is the antimicrobial, because nobody likes a stinky fisherman at the end of a hot day.
Visit www.shopsportsmanstore.com to get your Cool Breeze today.
S11 sunglasses makes it like the water is not even there.
Louisiana Sportsman Magazine. For over 31 years, your source for fishing and hunting information. Each month you will find stories by local experts on everything from bass to redfish, to ducks, deer, to trout, and turkey. We've got incredible local information that you can use immediately to get more success outdoors. You'll also enjoy monthly columns on cooking, the latest lures, GPS locations, shooting, kayaks, and much more. Have Louisiana Sportsman delivered to your house and safe. $24.99 gets you a full year of Louisiana Sportsman. To order today, visit louisianasportsman.com.
You know, it did. We got started this morning and man, it looked like you ought to catch one every cast, but it actually, you know, the water was moving and you'll have that a lot, you know, because these fish are used to tide and they kind of feed on the tide. You know, when the tide gets just right, you know, it'll pull them out of places. And it seemed like after we were there probably 30, 45 minutes that the bite really turned on. You know, at first, you know, Jared went to catching a bunch of redfish, and then we make one pass, it's all redfish, and it seemed like the water got right. We make another pass, it's all bass, you know, right in the same stuff. And then, you know, pretty much after that, it was all day. You know, we caught some everywhere we pulled up and stopped, you know, we would catch some fish. So, you know, when you go in an area that's that good and it's got that much cover, I mean, you just feel like every cast you're gonna catch one. You know, every patch of grass is either hiding a bass or a redfish. Like a big old mustache. But really, that's been the whole key today is the milfoil. I mean, this whole Delacroix area is just, you know, is full of, you know, pretty green milfoil. And the deal is, all over the state, the grass will vary some, but that's just one of the big keys that our fishing is so good, because these are big estuary areas. I mean, the small freshwater fish are protected, the small saltwater fish are protected. That Mississippi River draining into these places, you know, is just putting fertilizer on the yard. I mean, you see the number of crab traps we've seen today. That's just because there's just so much life in our marsh. You know, that's that deal that we have to protect, because this is the finest place on the planet, as far as I'm concerned. There's not too many places where you can go out in a day's time and catch a limit of bass, and I'm pushing a limit of bass and a limit of redfish in the same day, on the same lure, throwing at the same cover. I mean, that's how awesome of area we live in. I think I caught one redfish today on a worm, you know, on a Texas rig cutter worm, but everything else for me came on a gold rage blade with a swimming shiner trailer, and Jared threw a gold spoon, in which that's, you know, that's a standby old favorite gold spoon. You know, in the marsh and all that grass is hard to beat, you know, for catching bass and redfish. Come on. Redfish. Either that or it's a giant bass.
Yeah. Gigante.
So a 9-1 you caught yesterday at Des Allemands.
No
That's
kidding.
a picture of it on Facebook. Not a friend of mine sent me the picture.
What I throw is, in these grassy ponds, I like to throw a gold spoon, but I do something a little different than everybody else. I want a little smaller, and I use an 1/8 ounce gold spoon. And the reason for that is I find it comes through the grass a little bit better, but also when you get in these grassy areas, a lot of times the water gets so clear, the fish see a lot better, and to me, they seem like they're even a little bit more aware of their surroundings and more weary. So when I was sight fishing, I'd throw that 1/4 ounce spoon, and it makes a louder boom noise when it hits the water. So when I switched to 1/8 ounce spoon, I noticed it made a lot less noise. So that's most of the time when I'm fishing grass ponds, what I throw.
Well, you know, at one time, you know, we threw the pure poison all the time, which was a bladed jig, you know, which was actually just a jig head with a skirt, and it had a blade on it. The blade was attached to the head. Now this actually does not have a head. The weight is actually just attached to the blade, and the hook is free floating. It comes rigged in the package with a skirt and a forked tail, and you can throw it like that. But, you know, one of the deals today is we're extremely clean water, and I just wanted something that was a little more eye appealing to the fish other than the skirt. So that's a 4-inch swimming shiner, green gizzard, and I just took the skirt off and just stuck that up on the hook. And they just don't miss it. You know, I've caught redfish on it today, bass, just everything. It comes through the grass really well. It's real weedless because that hook's just flopping around, so when it comes over that stuff, it won't roll over sideways. That blade hits and it just comes right through the cover. It's
And
just
what's that blade called? What's that?
That's a rage blade. It's a Strike King rage blade. And you know, Strike King still makes the pure poison, and fishing deeper, open water, I still think it's a better choice, but fishing up shallow in this grass like this where you want a bait that's super weedless, and just really looks right, because that little swimming shiner on the back, that looks like what they're eating, and then that blade is putting out the vibration, you know, attracting them out of that grass. Yeah, but I'm gonna have to. I'm glad it was a bass. I got mono on this pole because it's to keep from tearing that hook out of it. A rage blade. That's my version of that's my gold spoon.
That's right, that's your confidence.
Well, I mean, it just catches them in this situation. And it's pretty weedless. I probably end up having to put it on braid. I got it on mono, and I typically, you know, throw it on mono on the bass. But bass are different. Like, they don't, they have a tendency to want to take the bait different from the way, say, a redfish does. And it's so easy to pull the bait out of their mouth. Yeah, they're mealy mouth, you know, they don't, I mean, sometimes they'll eat and sometimes they don't. So, but the way their mouth is made, they can suck that bait in and blow it back out. And it just seems like on this, that mono's softer. It's a lot deader feeling. They get it good. By the time I felt him, see, he's already swam off, but he had the bait good. But the only bad thing about that is if I get a redfish out here and that stretchy mono and it's light rod, you know, I'm gonna look like Mr. Jared. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm like a monkey in a football. You know, you see what I'm getting at? Tell him I finally caught a bass. That's a good bass. That's a good bass. That rhino line probably beat all his hide off. Now look, that's a typical, look how they built. No doubt that's a marsh bass. He's as deep as he is long. But that's what's cool, you know, that this is one of the only places, and when I say this is one of the only places, I mean Louisiana, you know, where you can catch bass or redfish. I actually been in some ponds at Venice before and see a shark swimming around in them while I'm catching bass on a frog. It's pretty awesome that you can fish for all that stuff, because what I like is you can target saltwater fish with bass tackle. You know, and I find a lot of times, you know, I can catch jacks, redfish, whatever, you know, right along with the bass using the same stuff. You know, I don't have to change my equipment.
Why Bowie Outfitters? Our customers know why.
When you need something, you come in, you ask for it, and you can get it. Great selection of clothes here, guns, shells, calls, whatever you need. I like coming in and doing that. And more importantly for me, I'm a big bow hunter. I think these guys are better than anybody. That's why I come over to Bowie Outfitters.
That's Bowie Outfitters, Perkins Road between Essen Lane and Bluebonnet. Bowie Outfitters, for everything outdoors.
Sportsman.com is the South's premier hunting and fishing website. Planning a hunting or fishing trip? Visit LouisianaSportsman.com and get up-to-the-date information on weather, tides, or solar data. Our breaking news and continually updating forum will keep you up to date. Or visit our report section and ask the locals what's been biting and where. Need to sell or buy an outdoor item? LouisianaSportsman.com's free classifieds are the quickest way for you to reach the outdoor market. LouisianaSportsman.com, the quick way to get the most of the outdoors.
As sure as the sun rises over the Gulf waters, the excitement builds for the 20th year as the 2014 CCA Louisiana Star Fishing Tournament is upon us.
Me and some of my friends signed up last year, and believe it or not, I actually won.
Over 101 days of fishing, with over 25 inshore and offshore divisions, like the Youth Division, Speckled Trout Division, and don't forget, the Tagged Redfish Division, where the first to catch a tagged redfish wins a new Chevy Silverado. Registered at ccastar.com. Share in the passion, conserve our coast.
Grass beds play a vital role in providing habitat to both popular game fish species and sport fish species across the Gulf of Mexico, as well as their forage. Popular species like redfish, bass, flounder, and even speckled trout, as well as mullet, menhaden, shrimp, and crabs, can all be found living in the grass beds throughout Louisiana's brackish marshes. Similarly, seagrass beds can be found in coastal bays and behind barrier islands across the Gulf of Mexico. They too provide an important role in the ecosystem in providing habitat for fish and forage, as well as slowing down wave action, helping to clear up the water, and helping to settle sediments that are in our coastal lakes, bays, and marshes. Seagrass beds and submerged aquatic vegetation in our coastal marshes have been disappearing across the Gulf of Mexico for some time. The Theodore Roosevelt Conservation Partnership is working with its sport fishing partners and other habitat conservation organizations to advocate for the use of oil spill recovery dollars to help rebuild and rehabilitate seagrass beds and coastal marshes across the Gulf of Mexico. For more information about that work and other sport fishing work that the TRCP is doing, please log on to our website, www.trcp.org, and click on our fisheries page. Thank you for the support.
Go, pump and wine, pump and wine. Maybe you'll tighten up on your drag just a little bit.
Try.
You're going to have to break his spirit, Jared.
Come on. Hey, yeah.
I mean, this fishing will be good till October, November. I mean, I don't know that it just doesn't progressively get better. You know, one thing will definitely get better, the red fishing will get better as the summer goes along. You know, the bass fishing will probably stay about the same, but the red fishing will get better. It just seems like more and more redfish will show up in those back ponds around that grass, you know, the hotter the weather gets. They just have a tendency to migrate that way. That's Matt fishing for redfish. You gotta twitch him along, make old Big come through there and get him. That's just... That's a pretty thing though, isn't it? Or maybe these are my glasses. These Strike King glasses just make everything pretty. It is pretty though. It looks so golden laying there. One thing for sure you gotta have is a good pair of polarized sunglasses. And I like Strike King. Not one pair of sunglasses fits everybody, and it's one reason that Strike King makes such a wide variety, different frames for different head shapes. You know, I got a big head, so I gotta have big frame glasses. The other cool thing about the Strike King glasses are, they are very, very reasonable for what you get. They have a lifetime warranty. You knock a lens out of them, you send them back to Strike King, they send you a brand new pair. And realistically, with the way most sunglasses are priced today, they probably cost a quarter of what most sunglasses cost out there today. You know, the sight fishing wasn't the best because we had a 30-mile-an-hour south wind. It was probably realistically 20, but on days when you get good slick weather, man, the funnest way to catch a redfish is to be visibly looking at him. The other cool thing is, actually in this part of the country, you can sight fish the bass. You know, you just need to be looking for those fish. Even if you don't catch one that you see, you get to see how they're setting up on the cover, so you know the next time you get around that kind of cover, you know how that fish should be positioned. You know, probably a checklist to have when you come. You know, you need a spinning rod because you know, like you're gonna throw that light spoon, it throws better on a spinning rod. Probably 30 or 40 pound braid. I mean, if you're one of those people and you want to use mono, you need to use big mono, 20, 25 pound test. If not, 40 or 50 pound braid on a bait caster, some rage blades, some shad imitation swim baits for the back end of it. You know, a top water bait, a frog, a KVD sexy frog, because that frog bite's fixing to happen on those bass, you know. And occasionally, you know, you can get one of them big redfish to hit it too, but a Texas rig plastic worm, you know, just a handful of good plastics, and right now I'm having trouble. I got him. Now, the funny thing about that, I got interrupted there, was that I was looking at a largemouth bass that weighed about 2 pounds that bit me on the first cast. And the next cast in there, I catch a redfish. I mean, that's what's awesome about this area. I'm throwing thinking I'm gonna catch a bass, and I catch a redfish. But I do recommend, it's not a bad idea to pick up a sack of dead shrimp to put on the back of that bait as a guarantee that you'll catch them. You know, another thing is to have a good, strong trolling motor. You know, today we're just pulling that grass. I'm having to run good batteries. I'm having to run that trolling motor on, you know, wide open all day to pull the grass, to pull the wind. And, you know, without that, it's gonna be a long day with the push pole. And I'd rather be casting and letting that trolling motor work for me, as I had to be pushing that pole and only getting a few casts. But most of the areas we've been in today, you can fish the area that you need to fish with the trolling motor. You know, but there are days, you know, when you get back. The other reason for the push pole, in case you run up on the ground, you get stuck somewhere, it's nice to have that to be able to push yourself out so you don't have to get out and wade the mud.
We caught old Greg.
Old Greg.
I'm old Greg. Oh my God. That's coastal restoration right there. Man.
DNR may think we're destroying habitat.
I'm telling you. God. It feels like a blanket. Like a big wet blanket.
You gonna take it home with you and sleep with it?
I'm telling you.
Good bass. A good bass. Marsh wranglers. I just thought of it, Jared. It just came to me. A good bass. You know that's the reason I want to keep coming back over here. So I catch them greens. Woo, they pretty.
All right, hold on, throw them back.
Okay. See, now I need my power pole. So
What would you do with that power pole?
lock it down. And see if there's a little oyster down there. You get a.
This is Ryan Terrio. I'm here at Bowie Outfitters, and listen, I'm an avid bow hunter. If you're looking for a place with the best service in the South and wonderful accessories, not to mention a top-of-the-line bow range, Bowie Outfitters is a place for you. A wonderful staff here and great service at Bowie, but an awesome selection of guns. We have pistols, rifles, and shotguns, and everything else you could imagine. And for all those hard-to-find bass fishing and inshore products, Bowie Outfitters is a place for you. That's Bowie Outfitters for everything outdoors in between Essen and Bluebonnet on Perkins Road.
Don't just be a sportsman, look like one too. Men, women, kids, everyone wants to look like a good sport. And now you can find it all in one place without leaving the house. Our popular Sportsman logo clothing and accessories are just a click away at LouisianaSportsman.com. T-shirts, caps, polarized sunglasses, jewelry, koozies, and more are available in a variety of sizes and colors. It's easy to show the world that you are a sportsman. Visit shop.louisianasportsman.com today and get that perfect sportsman item for yourself or as a gift for that sportsman in your life.
For camping, fishing, hunting, or anything outdoors, bring along Arctic Ice. Simply freeze these versatile cooler packs and they're ready to keep your food and drinks cold throughout your outing. Arctic Ice can maintain in a cooler 60% longer than the equal weight of regular ice, and with no more mess or soggy food. Arctic Ice is clean and easy. Alaskan Series can maintain a sub 40-degree cooler for days, and the Tundra Series can keep game frozen till it gets home. Preserve an Arctic refuge in your cooler. Choose Arctic Ice.
Skipping red. Mighty redfish. That's a borderline eater right there. Oh, sorry, it'll be more. The deal is, if you got rid of all this grass here, you know, the redfish may still be here. I'm not even sure if they would still be here in the same number, but I can promise you the bass wouldn't be. Like, you get rid of the grass here, there's not gonna be any bass. There's no cover. You know, there's nothing for them to hide around, you know, to grow up. That. It's a redfish. Where'd he come from? Can we pet it too, or? You know, really, we just been beating the edges. We really haven't caught anything. I keep picking that frog up, wanting a big blow up out in it, but you know, most everything we caught's just been out in the scattered grass, you know. But we got good weather for that, partly cloudy and wind blowing 20. You know, it's good weather for them to be out in the, on the edge. There you got it. Jared's pitching holes again.
So what I'm doing while Greg is throwing the frog out far, we're drifting over this grass mat. And every 5-10 feet or so, you get a nice big hole in the grass mat. So I'm just flipping that little spoon in there and jigging it. He came out from under the grass, and I didn't even really know he was on it until I went to go lift up from jigging, and he was there. He hit it pretty good.
The biggest thing is just like right here where we are now is activity. You know, something to key you in on, you know, because a lot of places there's so much grass, but there are not fish everywhere. So, you know, sometimes it's looking for the fish blowing up, other times it's the bait, listening. in the grass. You'll hear bluegill and stuff sucking in the grass, looking for life, birds, places where you see a lot of bird life. This is no lie, no lie, no lie. Let me tell you what just happened. I look over and I see this big red thing swimming in the water. I said, big redfish. Now I was like, that was 2 freaking big stingrays swimming together. So I just go ahead and flip my bug over anyway. And Mr. Green Jeans showed up. He undoubtedly was swimming right along. There he is, the last of his kind, the elusive marsh bass. You know, because the deal is everywhere we've been, the average depth is, 3 foot to 6 inches. I mean, that's basically what you're dealing with. And it's like that, so depth has not played a big deal in what we've been doing. It's just certain little areas in the grass that seem to be attracting those fish, and the reason for that, that's where the bait is. Like there are certain places in the grass that all the bait's hanging out. Well, that's all the predator fish, the game fish, that's where they're all hanging out in the same deal. That's typical grass fishing. You just go and go and go, and then when you find them, that one point of grass right there might have 20 on it. That's the way it is. Good bass, old bass. I saw him come up and get it. I thought it was a redfish.
Don't throw him back yet.
Okay, I will not.
When you get it, just go up to the GoPro and just do like a side swipe of it.
Don't avoid the grass on your next fishing trip. Dive right in the middle. Join us here next time on Sportsman TV. Now it's hot weather. There's no reason to cut the day short, not with the new Sportsman Cool Breeze shirt. When it's so hot outside and you can't stand it, put on one of these Cool Breeze. It's almost like wearing an air conditioner. Comes in 5 cool colors. The shirt breathes nicely, but what I like about it the most is the antimicrobial, because nobody likes a stinky fisherman at the end of a hot day.
Visit www.shopsportsmanstore.com to get your Cool Breeze today.